Project Blue Book was the name of the study of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, by the United States Air Force from March 1952 to December 1969. A document from the U.S. Air Force Office of the Secretary wrote yesterday, "Since the termination of Project Blue Book, nothing has occurred that would support a resumption of UFO investigations by the Air Force." John Greenwald Jr., creator of the Black Vault, tweeted yesterday, "No, this is not a quote from 1996. This was this morning in writing." This is also written on the Air Force website.
Representative James Comer has said there will be oversight of whistleblower David Grusch's claims that the government has possessed a UFO crash retrieval program, and Comer said that there will be a hearing into the matter, News Nation reports. Congressman Tim Burchett is one of the lawmakers that will lead these oversight hearings, and he had this to say on News Nation.
First of all, how believable do you find this whistleblower, David Grusch?
I find him very believable, ma'am. He's a veteran. He served our country. Doesn't mean a lot in Washington, D.C., apparently, but in East Tennessee, it means a whole heck of a lot about people that served our country. He's decorated. I've known him for some while. We've been in contact for a good while. I've talked to so many other people, ma'am, that are risking their careers, literally, or their reputations. Pilots that have chased these craft that we've seen on video that have no heat signature, that defy our laws of physics. I don't know how much more we can have of this.
The House Oversight Chairman Comer has said he would ask you to lead the hearing on this. Any word on what that might happen, when that might happen?
Well, we're just trying to get confirmed folks here, know that they can come in and testify. That's really the only holdup, ma'am. I'm not, Chairman Comer is very kind to me, and the Speaker McCarthy has also agreed that we could have this hearing.
Burchett also said they are going to try to have David Grusch at a hearing to testify, but that he has to be careful about speaking on information that is classified.
Well, and that's a very relevant holdup, as we're having this great narrative about
wouldn't want to get indicted under the Espionage Act.
Well, no, yeah, that's an issue, and it's been buried a little bit in our commentary over the last few days, as we grappled with what seemed to be Trump having actually national security concerning documents in his possession. But it is still the case that there is too much classification, that the government works for the American people and should not generally be in the business of hiding relevant information from the American people. We can handle the truth.
Yeah.
We deserve the truth. We are entitled to the truth legally, constitutionally, etc. So he should be absolutely, if he's worried he can be prosecuted, like he should be shielded. That should be an agreement that he is shielded from prosecution and can describe whatever classified materials he's seen, or can name the people who do have access to the classified material so that we can question them. No more of this, I can't talk about that, that's state secrets. We want to know what those state secrets are. If there's actually a cover-up, again, which I don't find particularly likely, if there's actually a cover-up.
He's a believer now.
Since yesterday, certainly not, of non-human crafts and pilots that were recovered, then let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, so to your point about our entitlement to the truth, I mean, the top of this story is about the fact that this guy, Greenwald, who has been running this kind of UFO website, news site investigating these kinds of things, sent a FOIA request to get more information 2 years ago. And the timing of this is so interesting. The U.S. Air Force finally got back to him, but not with the documents requested in the FOIA request, but a pro forma pat letter that it's basically a copy-paste job from 2016, at which point they shut down this Project Blue Book, which was, tracking this kind of information, saying, well, we haven't tracked it since then. Here's the information they shouldn't have known from back then, and so I'm not fulfilling this request.
It took 2 years to respond to this FOIA request.
Right. So John Greenwald Jr.'s point is that there are all these other organizations, a whole litany of acronyms that they should have been responsive to, that they should have looked into those organizations and fulfilled these kinds of requests, but that they basically have brushed him off here. And the timing of after 2 years sending him this letter in the middle of this national conversation now about extraterrestrial life or UFOs is interesting and according to some in the UFO community, damning.
Yeah, the lack of transparency is very I mean, it is not in itself evidence of anything, because the government is not transparent out of habit, even when there is nothing to keep secret. They keep things secret out of just habit and tradition, and they want to be shielded from accountability just in case there's something. So that cannot be conclusive on its own. However, sometimes they are. They know things that they aren't telling, that they take way too long to tell us. We're having this whole dialogue right now. We had Michael Schellenberger on the show yesterday to make some pretty incendiary claims about information. I was seeing parallels here, information that he has based on conversations he's had with people in the government who claim to effectively know that the lab leak is the origins of COVID, that the first 3 people to get sick were people in the lab, including the person working most closely on gain of function with bat specimens. That's who got sick with COVID first. That all but confirms the lab leak as the beginning. And those 3 people couldn't have, if they'd all gotten it at the wet market, that's like beyond the statistical any possibility. Now, we haven't seen those documents. We haven't seen that report. We didn't interview that person. We're relying on, so it's secondhand. But obviously, I generally trust Michael Schellenberger. I have him on as an expert a lot on the show because I think he's done great journalism. So,
you know what else is secondhand? When the when the Washington Post reports that it talked to someone in the CIA that confirmed that it knew in advance and tried to stop the Nord Stream bombing. So there's a real selective.
Sources say.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there's been so much the mainstream media relies on confidential sources. It's gotten so much worse over time. And the mainstream media, the Washington Post, the New York Times, all of those outlets, they rely on confidential sources in cases where I think it is certainly much less justified. Mm-hmm. The justification for doing a confidential source is because it's national security and they can be prosecuted and it's illegal for them to share this information. Mainstream people, I mean, they do that too, but they also use confidential sources for someone just in the White House complaining about their boss or how things are going. Mm-hmm. And like, well, everyone will do that if you grant them anonymity. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, yeah, an official who works in the White House, but we protected their anonymity so that their job wouldn't be threatened. They say, things are really tough, right? Biden was having a bad day, and or Trump or whoever it is, they're combative and they were growling at people or something. Well, okay, everyone, not me, I'm so happy in my job, but everyone would complain to some degree about their employers, their bosses, their coworkers if you give them total anonymity. And it's just not, it's become standard practice to allow any level of that to appear in journalism, and I'm against it.
He says he's happy, but there has been some complaints about the lack of snacks in the kitchen.
Where are my green M&Ms? Only green M&Ms. You got to pick out all the others. I'm really a tyrant here.
All right, Mariah Carey.
Well, tomorrow on Rising, we don't know what we're talking about because it's not in the screen, but there it is. Jessica Burbank and Amber Athey will be back with you, taking over Rising Fridays. We are also doing, finally, that interview with RFK Jr., and that's going to get posted probably sometime over the weekend. So you'll definitely want to be on the lookout for that. We'll break it up. It'll be over several days.
Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it as it's being released, and like the videos and subscribe so you never miss any content, generally speaking. And if you're one of those who prefers to listen while you're on the move, remember we are available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Take care.
Bye-bye.